And when I die and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born in this world. Carry on, carry on. Hello! Welcome back to another exciting episode of X-Files analysis videos with me, Maria. Took a poll on Twitter, and it seems like y'all want to hear about the X-Files episode Lazarus, and y'all want to hear me scream about that one. Little background. When I was a kid and I watched the X-Files for the first time, I was around 11 or 12. I didn't like this episode. It's a season 1 episode, and I didn't like it because it insinuated that Scully, oh no, has a boyfriend other than Mulder. Oh no, Scully has a life outside of Mulder. That's terrible. And as I got older and I rewatched the series, I'm gonna be 38 in another month. That's the reason I like this episode is, oh boy, Scully has a life outside of Mulder. I talked about this before. One of the things about the X-Files that just pisses me off, like hell in a handbasket, is that Scully does not get to have a personal life, and Mulder does, and that's some intense sexism and misogyny in the show. Mulder gets to have, he gets porn, he gets to masturbate, except in the revival where Scully got a vibrator. Yay, women's rights. Mulder gets to have the lone gunmen who are his buddies, and he gets to have sex with his ex-girlfriends and vampire girlfriends. And when Scully divulges into any kind of personal life or personal pleasure, or even having friends, the show punishes her for that. Many other podcasts have talked about this. I'm thinking about the Sex Files podcast with Stevie and Emily, which is the best podcast ever. Watch it. Okay, just watch it. Don't watch it. You can't watch it. Listen to it. What am I talking about? With Stevie and Emily, the Sex Files podcast it's ace. It's so good. And that's what Lazarus is about, and that's the reason I like it. And I'm titling this episode, Lazarus, Let Dana Scully Have Friends. Because everyone knows that when Dana Scully gets to have friends, I have an orgasm, and you have an orgasm, and we all have orgasms. So, the episode is about he's framed as Scully's ex-boyfriend, but I see him more as her bud, and I'll get into that in a little bit. His name is Jack Willis, and look, Mulder stands, I'm not sorry, Jack Willis is hot, okay? He's hot. He's a hot guy, all right? Jack and Scully they're going undercover to this bank, and this douchebag, Dupree, and his girlfriend Lula are going to hold up the bank. Jack has been tracking them for a minute. It's like, this is the case of my career. It's really cute when Jack and Scully are in the bank at the beginning of the episode. She's telling him, he's like really intense. He's like, I've got to crack this case. I've got to get these 2 bank robbers. And Scully's like, you need to settle down, bro. And he says, I hear you loud and clear, Agent Scully. And it sets the stage for this really nice friendship between Jack and Scully. And throughout the episode, Scully does later on say that her and Jack dated. They didn't date very long. And I like to think that Jack and Scully were just really good buds. Now, if you want to believe that they're ex-lovers, that's fine. More power to you. In the same way, I support people who say Scully banged, what's his bucket, Ed Jurst, and Never Again. I'm like, yeah, okay. If you think she banged those hot guys, more power to you. More power to Scully. But I think Scully and Jack were just had a really good platonic friendship. And like, if it was sexual, it was sexual, but that doesn't dismiss this really close bond of friendship they have, which is why I love this episode so much. So anyway, uh-oh, we got ants, and they're biting me. Dupree, comes into the bank. His girlfriend Lula, who by the way is a smoke show. Lula's hot. There's so many hot people in this episode. My grandmother's name was Lula, by the way. Dupree comes into the bank. He doesn't know there's 2 FBI agents here because he doesn't know he's in an episode of the X-Files, apparently. And he does the trick that the X-Files uses a lot in bank robbery situations, where he's like, Scully's like, put your hands up. And he puts his hands up, and he's like, just kidding, bitch. And he shoots Jack. So then Scully shoots this motherfucker with the kind of stoicism we expect from our girl. And the next scene, you see them in the ER, and they're covering Dupree's face up with a sheet. You know, he's dead, or is he? And they're working on Jack. They got the defibrillator on him. They say clear, and Jack doesn't come back to life. But meanwhile, Dupree's body is right behind all the doctors and nurses doing the goddamn Macarena. And I had to explain to a class full of 6-year-olds yesterday what the Macarena was, and it was really good. Anyway, if you don't know what the Macarena is, look it up, Google it. I'm not going to take the time to explain it to you. You're not 6, or I hope you're not if you're listening to this podcast, because there's a lot of cussing. I mean vlog. I keep getting podcasts and vlogs mixed up today. So, it's a really moving scene. The nurse turns to Scully and she's like, we couldn't save him. I'm so sorry. And Scully does what she always does. She pulls the I'm a medical doctor card. And she is such a badass in this whole episode. And she, especially in this scene, and she's like, save him or I will. I'm a medical doctor. And they're like, well, this tiny woman, we can't argue with her. I was telling my spouse one of my favorite tropes in the X-Files is where Scully shows up in a situation and all these people are like, the fuck if we know what's going on? Let's put this tiny woman in charge. She obviously knows what's up. So they bring Jack back to life. Everybody's like, hooray! But then you see Dupree's tattoo on his arm and it's fading. That I'm sure works into the plot at some point. So then you see Jack. He's walking around. He's alive. He's back, but he's not acting like himself. He goes into the morgue, and in a scene that traumatized my 6-year-old, he cuts off Dupree's finger. Holy shit. This episode's pretty gross, by the way. And then he steals Dupree's clothes, and he's just not acting like himself. So the implication is that Dupree's soul has left his body, and when Jack was in his near-death experience, Dupree's soul possessed him. And I'll talk about that in just a minute, why I think that theory is up in the air. So then you see Mulder and Scully. They're investigating this, and Mulder's like, Willis got possessed by Dupree's spirit. And Scully's like, you're fucking crazy, Mulder. Just, you know, that's summarizing the X-Files season 1 through 7. Anyway, Mulder's like, how well did you know Willis? And Scully says, he was my instructor at the academy, and we dated for about maybe a little less than a year, and Mulder is triggered. So I love jealous Mulder. A lot of people talk about how much they love jealous Scully. Jealous Mulder is my kink. And this is not a very well-known jealous Mulder moment, but I love he gives this little sigh. It's the deepest sigh. He goes, he is so triggered. And he's like, that could be me. And I'm like, yeah, that could be you, Mulder, if you stop fucking around and tell this girl you love her. So then Lazarus is an episode that probably gives Scully some of the most, if not the most, character development, a peek into her life, especially before she met Mulder. And she tells Mulder, you know, Jack and I were buddies. You know, we'd go to this bar, we'd shoot pool on a slanted pool table. We had the same birthday. We'd, you know, exchange gifts on our birthdays, which they're mutual birthdays. And then she's like, later on in the episode, you find out he took her to this cabin and taught her how to go ice fishing. And I mean, it's just a really nice friendship. And it's so refreshing to see this side of Scully where she gets to have friends and she gets to have a personal life and she gets to go off and have fun. And it's something that ultimately disappears in the series. It doesn't disappear, but if it's outside of Mulder, she doesn't get to have any kind of joy in her life. And it's goddamn sad. Like, because as I've said before, like, that's not just the hallmarks of a healthy relationship. Like, you know, my spouse and I, we love each other and we spend time together, but we have friends and we have interest outside of each other. And that's the hallmark of a healthy relationship. And Scully should have that. I mean, Mulder gets to have that, right? But she doesn't get to have anything to herself outside of him. And this is one of the few episodes where she does. It's also the mark of a healthy lifestyle. Like, devoting your life completely to one person is unhealthy. And that's ultimately what happens to Scully. And it's heartbreaking to see. So anyway, they meet Jalis. Who the fuck is he? Sounds like a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. They meet Jack Willis, aka Jalis, at the crime scene where Dupree has killed Lula's brother. Pour one out for this guy, whoever the fuck he is. And Willis is yelling. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Scully goes up to him. She kind of pulls him aside. She's like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? You know, like, he's trying to destroy evidence. He's just being very unstable. And again, you get this really this evidence of this. I'm sitting by the road again. Hello, an Alabama tradition. You get this really nice peek into their relationship where it's like they're friends. They just have this really nice friendship. And she's like, look, you need to get a full psych eval. I'm worried about you. And it's just so sweet to see. So then they go to this guy and Mulder's like, he's like, I've seen, he hasn't even seen instances of possession by other souls. He's just like, I've heard about this stuff, womp womp. So here's the thing about this episode, and I think it's the thing about the majority of X-Files episodes. The thing about the X-Files is it's always up in the air. Like, if there's a supernatural thing, it could happen, but you're never given enough substantial evidence to support that it absolutely happened without question. And if there is, the writers make it so that Scully does not see it. And so therefore she does not believe it. So when people shit on Dana Scully and they're like, ugh, she's ignorant, she never believes. It's like, of course she doesn't believe. There's no substantial evidence to this stuff. It's just Mulder saying, like, this happened, so it's evidence that this happened. And it's never the substantial evidence. For example, like, is Jack possessed by the soul of Dupree? Maybe. Could Jack just be suffering from a trauma that made him want to desecrate the body of his attacker, like Scully suggests? Yes, that's a plausible explanation. So that's the way the X-Files works. So when Scully shitted on for not believing, I'm like, first of all, almost all of the cases does not have absolutely, honest to God, balls to the walls proof that this supernatural thing occurs. And if it does, the writers make it so that she does not come into the room in time to see it. And it's fucking annoying. And it's even more fucking annoying when people are like, she can't believe. Why can't she believe? Maybe because the show has shitty writers. I don't know. So anyway, I'm at 16:08. We gotta wrap this up. I don't want to go to 30 minutes like the one about shapes did. So, anyway, they track Dupree's hot girlfriend Lula down to this boarding house. And they go up to the landlord. I love this guy. He acts like the FBI comes to his office every day. They're like, sir, you need to hide in your office while we do this. And he's like, yeah, sure, I know the drill. Just go do your thing, FBI. I know I got some murderers in my tenant house. So Lula's in a red sweater hanging up her wash. And I just want to say that when I was a kid, I have no idea why I didn't like this episode, because it had one of my favorite tropes ever when I was a kid, and that's Bonnie and Clyde. If a show had Bonnie and Clyde in it, it hit shit with me, and I have no idea. I guess I was just too angry that Scully had another boyfriend besides Mulder, and I couldn't focus on that. So they trap Lula in the, I guess it's like a boiler room, but it's also like a laundry room where people hang their washing up. And Scully cuffs her, and then Jack pulls out his handcuffs and throws them at Scully, and she's like, I've already cuffed her. And he's like, those are for you, Scully. And Scully has the look, and she's like, ah, shit, I'm fucked. And they take Scully to another location. Oh, wow, there's the eagle. Very cute, very, very pretty. She's been living around here. I think our neighbors have a pair of bald eagles, and I think they kicked their chicks out, and one of them came to live here. Very nice. So, stay away from my chickens, eagle. Anyway, they chain Scully to a radiator and threaten her, and Scully just... I'm always blown away by this gal's stoicism. Like, Willis is putting the pistol up to her cheek, and it makes her cheek all chubby, and she's still like staring him down. She's like, I know this isn't you, Jack. Like, God, Dana Catherine Scully, like, what a badass. Hello, Philip. There goes our friendly neighborhood tow truck. He lives right down the road. So anyway, Willis starts talking to Lula, having these very problematic conversations. The Sex Files pointed this out better than I will, about how he tells her, she's like, I can't believe it's you, like, believing that it's Dupree. And he's like, baby, it won't make any difference in the dark, which is disgusting. There's absolutely no reason the writers should have put in that goddamn awful line. That's so nasty. And, oh, we just love the X-Files throwing out casual references to rape and sexual assault. And panning it off as like a supernatural shit. We just love that, don't we? Actually, we fucking hate it, and I fucking hate it. So, anyway, Jack is like downing Shasta's like it's goddamn no tomorrow, and he starts to feel bad, and Scully's chained to the radiator, and she's like, Excuse me, you're diabetic, bitch. You don't need to be, um, downing those cans of soda like a goddamn queen. And, so she sends, Lula out to get insulin. Lula gets the insulin, they bring it back, and then Lula's like, drop that insulin, bitch. And Scully's like, oh shit, because that's right, Lula double-crossed that motherfucker Dupree. And she's like, I got away with the money and I thought I left you. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see, like, Jack and or Dupree. He's so brokenhearted. He's so betrayed. And look, Dupree is a motherfucker, okay? He's a murderer and a motherfucker. But, excuse me. Like, you see that just devastation in his eyes because Lula is the only thing he's ever put any value in, that he's ever believed in. And she pulled the rug out from under him. And he's totally played. So, meanwhile, Mulder's losing his goddamn mind looking for Scully. Another X-Files classic. It's kind of nice to see Mulder actually doing FBI work. We don't see it very often because the writers always give Mulder the correct answers all the time, so he never has to do any goddamn work. But it's nice to see him doing work, actually, being an FBI agent sometimes. And there is a very cute scene where the FBI agents are like ragging on Mulder, calling him spooky, And there's this one guy and he's like, hey, Mulder's all right. Lay off of him, bitches. It's pretty cute. I like that scene. Anyway, because we need more evidence that Mulder's head over heels in love with this woman, he tells the people, like, those of you who know me, this is important to me. Gotta save baby girl. Then there is a Bible salesman who shows up at Lula's door, and this guy is giving it 120%, both the character and the actor. He's like, good evening, Belle. It's a lovely day. He's like, can I interest you in the word of the Lord? And we've all watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? We know when a Bible salesman shows up, nothing good will come of it. So, surprise bitch, he's an FBI agent. And an FBI agent with ace acting skills, by the way. And he tells the people, like, yeah, saw her. She probably has Scully. And then they move in. And she comes back in. And Scully says in the most heartbreaking low voice, she's like, Jack is dead. And you killed him. And Lula, like, throws her ring at him. And she's like, well, goodbye, whoever you are. But surprise, Jack ain't dead. There's a lot of playing possum in this episode. You should just call it The X-Files Playing Possum. Jack grabs Lula. And he's like, it's, again, a really heartbreaking delivery. The actor who plays Jack and the actress who plays Lula, give them all the Emmys. They're so good. Again, all the actors and actresses acting circles around David Duchovny all the time, every time. And he's like, baby, I've seen what's on the other side, and it's beautiful. There's nothing to be afraid of. And it's like, it's really intense. And then he shoots her, and they die together, and it's a lot. And it's kind of erotic. I'm not going to lie to you. So then the FBI bust in. They're like, is Scully okay? Mulder comes to Scully. I really love how Scully doesn't immediately look at Mulder. Like, she's looking at Jack. She's like, my friend. Oh, my God, my friend's dead. Again, I really love it. I love it when Mulder is not the center of her universe and she has a life outside of him. So then we go back to the FBI headquarters. Scully's packing up Jack's desk. She's like, and you get a little peek into Jack's life. Like, there was this kid he mentored, and Scully's like, what am I going to tell him? He was like a little brother to him. And Mulder is a giant pulsing donkey dick in this scene. He just tells Scully, well, good night. And I think this supports the theory that Mulder will go to the ends of the earth if he believes that Scully is out of his possession. And you see this time and again in the series where he'll move heaven and earth for her if he believes she's going to be taken away from him. And it's really gross, you know. And I hate to say it, but he does see her that way. But once he knows she's by his side and she's not going anywhere, he could care less about her feelings. I always think about the end of the cancer arc of Redux 2, and Scully's all right. Yay! You know, her cancer's in remission. She's going to be all right, you know. And you kind of expect Mulder to, like, turn over a new leaf and to be considerate of her and considerate of her feelings. Nope. In Detour, he's right back to his old bullshit. Ditching her, going off without her, just being a douchebag. And I see that in this episode, too. It's like, I've got my girlfriend back. Can treat her any way I want to. And it's fucked up. And I'm sorry, Jack Willis, when he wasn't possessed by a creepy bank robber ghost, was the better boyfriend to Scully. Any partner was better for Scully. Barring creeps like Daniel and motherfuckers who wanted to kill her like Ed. Reyes, Jack were better partners to her than Mulder. And I'm sorry, Mulder stans. That's just the truth, okay? They would have made better romantic partners to Scully. That's just how I see things. So, that's how the episode ends. And, ends on a really depressing note. So, that's Lazarus. I love it because it gives Dana Scully a little inkling of a personal life. Like I said, when I watch The X-Files, I'm like a goddamn vacuum cleaner sucking crumbs off a rug. Let me know what underrated X-Files episode you want me to talk about. Let me know about an overrated X-Files episode you want me to scream about. Why is an episode underrated in your opinion? Why is an episode overrated in your opinion? I just want to hear from you. So have a great day. I hope it's cooler where you are than it is here. There's a goddamn heat wave here. Have a good one. Oh, we made it to 27:55. So we almost made it to 30 minutes. Love you. Mwah.